everyone, welcome to Slow Flow and Meditation. So I'm Fern and it's really lovely to be here with you all. Hope everyone's well and doing okay. So I thought we would try and do like an all body sort of flow. So often I think of a peak pose and then work in a certain area, but today I just kind of had the feeling that it might be nice to try and generally open up and stretch through everything. So that's what we'll do. And we're going to begin in a seated meditation. So come to a comfortable seat. Of course, before you do that, if you have any injuries or anything that you want to ask about before we start, then just post it in the chat and I will get back to you. Yeah, welcome. Cool. So if everyone is ready, then yeah, let's begin. So we'll come to seated. Make sure you find a comfortable seat. So just remember that's unique to you and that might be different on different days. So find something that's comfortable, and if you don't want to sit, then you can also choose to lie down. It might be cross-legged, might be kneeling, or any other which way. If you want to sit on a cushion, bolster, blanket, anything you have at home, then also take that as an option. Now let's close down our eyes, and that really helps. Just let the external world fade away for a moment as we come to this place inside, into the internal world. And we'll focus here for a little while. And we'll begin by noticing and acknowledging the physical body that we're in. So feel the weight of your body. Let's start from the top this time. So just notice the crown of your head. Start to work your way down from here. So maybe you feel the hair on your head gently touching your skin. And then travel down. Just notice the length of your neck. Feel the sides of the neck, the front and back of your neck. And then let your shoulders feel heavy, gently dropping away from the neck, so almost lengthening the neck and allowing it to feel longer. As your shoulders gently drop down, and feel your upper arms and forearms, the hands that are on your lap if you're cross-legged, also weighing down, relaxing, softening. And notice your trunk, your torso. And maybe you can allow your heart to feel slightly lifted. And often that helps if we lift up a little through the sternum. And careful not to arch into the lower back too much as you do that. So also have the very subtle energy of gently drawing your front lower ribs down and very, very subtly lifting up through the back ribs. Almost actions that just exist in the mind but set a feeling and a tone that spreads from the mind to the physical. And notice your pelvis, your pelvic floor, the whole pelvic region. You can imagine that your tailbone, the base of your spine, and your pubic bone are equally descending down towards the earth. And then start to trace down through your legs. So feel and think about your thigh bone, your femur bone in your hip socket. Think about your knees. How do they feel? And then your calves, your shins, the heels of your feet, all the way to your toes. And as your awareness is very much in the physical here, try to breathe into it all at the same time and breathe with your breath and your awareness. How does your physical body feel right now? And maybe there are injuries, physical injuries that you want to take notice of, or that you have the moment to take notice of. These might be older injuries that sometimes play up and call out to us, or there might be new bruises that we've sustained today. And if you receive any messages like that, then allow it to be your responsibility and your duty to your physical body to allow a loving energy to come in and look after yourself. Not to push too far, but also to take what you need and what you're able to take. Allow also to have that experience in the physical. And then very gently let your physical body fade from mind, if you can. Let's use the breath to help with that. So now let your attention be drawn towards your breath. And try and breathe through your nose if you can. Inhale, deep breath in. Watch your breath as it travels into your body. Feel that expand, that expansion in your chest and your lungs. Breathing out slowly, feel the physical drop away and the breath move back out into the room. And start asking yourself the same questions about your breath. How does it feel to move this energy? How does your mind feel when you watch your breath? How does it feel to connect to the external and the internal through the flow of prana? What does your mind do here? Is it easy to stay and focus on your breath? Does your mind become distracted? And how do you react when you realize you're distracted? Now let's take 3 deep breaths together. So exhale completely, feel all the breath leave your body. And then take a deep breath in. Try and start from your belly and move through the ribcage towards the chest. Can you sip more air into your lungs? And then slowly exhale in reverse. Chest, ribs and your belly drawing all the way in. Twice more, breathing in. Breathing out. Once more, deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then let your eyes gently blink open. And now as we inhale, we're going to sweep our fingertips out to the side and then let your palms touch overhead. Now keep looking straight ahead. Try and reach your fingertips a little higher. Hug your ribs in, especially the front ribs, so the chest doesn't pop forwards too much. And then we're going to interlace the hands and press your palms away from you as you round through your back body and tuck your chin in towards your chest. Now see if you can lower your shoulders down your back and take another breath here as you breathe in. Imagine the prana, the energy, breathing into the back body and opening up every cell as you press your fingers forwards. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Press your palms towards the ceiling. Again, hug the ribs in. And we're going to gently release that interlace and take the hands back behind you. Now let your thumbs come closest to the body, fingertips further away. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And as you breathe in, lift up through your chest. Lift your sternum and then lift your gaze towards the ceiling. Make sure your neck is comfortable. Try and let your thighs hang heavy so they're not pulling up. They might try to do that. And then take another breath in. Feel your heart lift. And breathing out. And then walk your fingertips back to your side body. We're going to walk, so I'll mirror you. We'll walk the hand over to the right hand side, palm touches down, and then sweep your left arm up and overhead. And again, let this palm face down too. Notice if your left hip is lifting up off the ground. It's going to try to do that. So gently encourage it towards the earth as you reach a little further towards the right hand side. Relax your right shoulder. Take a deep breath into the side body. And then exhale, gently come back to center. And we'll take that to the second side. So we're going to walk the left hand out to the left, palm touches down, and reach your right fingertips up and overhead. Now press down through your right hip, relax your left shoulder and enjoy that stretch in the right side body. And you might sense that the top chest, so your right chest, is dropping forwards. Try and keep a sense of openness. And then let's come back to center here. And then breathe in, sweep your arms up. This time bend your right elbow, take the hand onto your shoulder and take your left hand onto the elbow here. And we'll gently open up into the back of the upper arm. Now again, have that very subtle action of pulling the ribs in, so your lower front ribs draw down, back ribs slightly elevate as you press the right elbow back behind you. And you can even let the left wrist rest on your head and use that to get leverage to open up a little more. So I'm pressing my head into my wrist and then holding there as I try to lift my gaze slightly. And then breathe deeply. All the time using the physical sensations to draw the mind, to anchor the mind. So we're concentrating and meditating here. And then gently release and take that to your second side. So the left hand touches down onto your left shoulder and you gently begin to open up to your left side. How deep is your breath? Can you extend the length of your inhalation and can you slow down your exhalation? And then release. Let's reach up with the fingertips. Now deep breath in. As you do, again, think of the pubic bone and tailbone descending. Now imagine your torso like a tube, reaching up in all directions, all sides, and then reach through your arms, through your fingertips. So you can find some energy here and you feel the muscles working. Now exhale, rotate towards the right. Begin slowly, so you're working from the navel upwards, rib cage and then the chest. And we're going to take the left hand onto the outside of the right knee and your right fingertips back behind you. Now this feels really good, so just enjoy it. You're spiraling through the spine. Draw your shoulder blades back a little, open across your collarbones, and let your gaze go back behind you as you ring out through the spine, really enjoying finding that movement in each vertebrae. And then as you inhale, come back to center. Reach up, take another breath in. Exhale, rotate towards the left. Now keep letting the thighs relax, work into the core as you spiral, and then take your right hand down to the outside of the left knee and your left fingertips back behind you. Open across your chest. Look back behind the left shoulder. Keep sitting tall, so it's your breath in that helps you sit tall, and it's the exhalation that deepens you into the rotation. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center, reach up through your fingertips. Now take your hands down onto your knees, and as you inhale, send your chest forwards, gently look up towards the ceiling, and exhale, round your back, tuck your chin into your chest. So you can see we're doing a variation of cat-cow here. Keep moving, breathe in, lift your heart. Exhale, round through the back, tuck your tailbone towards your chest, round your chest forwards, keep flowing, just enjoy it. And let the breath make sense to you, so you can feel why we breathe the way that we do. The inhale is supportive and expansive, and the exhale makes space for us. And then let's come up to a neutral position. Take your hands out in front, uncross your shins and come into tabletop. And we're going to continue with our cat-cow just a little deeper here. So first of all, set up, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Your toes can be tucked or untucked. And then as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. Pull your heart through the gateway of your arms. And exhale, press into the floor, round through your back. Tuck your chin into your chest. Breathing in, drop your belly, lift your chest. And exhale, press into the floor and round through your back. And inhale, come to center. So you're in your tabletop position. Your fingers are spread wide. And find that little engagement in the core. So hug your lower belly in so you feel that your lower back is lengthening. And then let's sweep the right fingertips back behind us and open up across the chest. Now often this feels a little sticky, quite difficult to do often, and sometimes easier. So notice what you feel and just know that that's what's valid for you. And then let's gently circle that hand back down, touch down, and take it straight to the left. So sweep your left fingertips back, open up across your chest, root down through the right hand as your left fingertips reach higher. And then exhale, let that circle back. Let's take it once more. So the right arm sweeps up towards the sky, open up across your heart. Breathing here, reach up, and we'll add on slightly. So exhale, thread the needle, let your right arm pass underneath the left. Now you keep your left elbow directly over the wrist, so your left forearm is perpendicular to the floor, and you press the floor away from you and open up into your heart. Try and keep your pelvis square, so the left and right hand side are together. And then to come out, you press into the left hand and reach the right fingertips back up towards the sky. And then release, take that hand down. Left side, breathing in, sweep your fingertips up and back. Holding here, press the floor away. And exhale, thread the needle. Your left arm passes underneath the right. Find the same alignment with elbow over wrist. With your right hand, you press the earth away. You try to move through the spine and open your chest as best you can. And it's hard to breathe in twists, so find space in your spine and then direct your breath there, just using your intention and imagination. And then as you breathe in, you reach up through the left fingertips. And exhale, release. Come back to your tabletop. Find that structure. Feel together here. So you want to feel your alignment and have a sense of being composed and together. Finding strength. And then we'll lift up through the right leg. We're going to bend the knee. So you're drawing your right heel in towards your sit bone and start to circle with the right knee now. And we're trying to move just the thigh bone in the hip socket. So what I mean by that is try to keep your pelvis still, and of course it's going to move a little, but just have the intention of holding still there. And then wherever you're circling, or whichever way you're circling, start to circle in the opposite direction. And then very carefully release, let that knee touch back down. We'll go to the second side. So the left knee lifts up, draw your heel in towards your sit bone and start to circle in one direction. Move slowly. Notice what's going on. Does it feel smooth? Does it feel a little bumpy? Does it feel a little gristly? What can you notice? And then circle in the opposite direction. And then release. Let's take that knee down and we'll take another round of cat-cow. So breathe in, drop your belly, lift your chest. And exhale, press into the floor, rounding through the back. Inhale, come to neutral. Walk your hands forwards, just a couple of centimeters. Spread the fingers wide. Check that the wrist crease lines up and is parallel to the front edge of your mat, and then tuck your toes. Take a deep breath in, hug your navel in, and exhale, press your hips back and come into your downward dog, and then pedal out through your feet. So bending one knee and then the other, finding space in your hamstrings. Just enjoy that movement of stretching out. And then when it feels right for you, come to stillness and take your downward facing dog. And we'll pause here for a moment, just notice how you're feeling into this pose. Is there anything you can adjust? So the fingers are spread wide, make sure all knuckles are connected to the floor. So that includes the index finger, which often tries to lift. And then root down a little more through the thumb side of your hand. Press into the floor, draw your forearms about 1 centimetre away from the mat and send your hips up and back. So it feels as though your hips are journeying towards the top back corner of your room. Now, if you feel as though you're rounding in your spine, then instead of rounding, keep the knees bent. And we'll take one more breath like this. And then inhale, come forwards into plank. Let your knees drop down to the floor, untuck the toes and lift your chest. Now squeeze the shoulder blades together. Press the backs of your feet into the earth. Bend your knees, move through tabletop, tuck your toes and exhale. Press back, downward facing dog. Get a lovely stretch here. Really enjoy the opening through the back of your body. Breathe in, come forwards into plank. Let your knees touch down, untuck your toes, shoulders away from ears, lift up through your sternum. Press the hips gently down towards the floor, but feel your tailbone lengthen towards your heels. Now tuck your toes, bend your knees, gently moving through tabletop. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Now inhale, your right leg lifts high. And exhale, knee to nose, shoulders forwards over wrists. And step your foot towards the inside of the right hand and drop your back knee down to the floor. Let your back toes untuck and inhale, reach up through your fingertips. And feel free to find a little movement here. So you might want to bob a little, or you might prefer to hold steady. So just see what feels right for you. And feel as though you're gently working into your hips, which you are, but really just feel into that, what's right for this moment. And then exhale, take your fingertips down towards the floor and we're going to stretch out through the right leg. Let your toes point up towards the ceiling. And then let's bend, drop the hips, lift the heart, shoulder blades come together. And exhale, extend, let your toes go up towards the ceiling. Once more, come forwards, drop your hips, lift your heart. And exhale, stretch it out. Try and draw your heart forwards and away from your navel. Lovely. Now take your right foot back down to the earth. Place your left hand to the floor and then sweep up through your right fingertips. Maybe you want to tuck the back toes and lift the back knee, just an option. Try and extend from wrist to wrist, palm to palm. If your knee is lifted, take your knee down towards the floor, circle your right arm back towards the earth. Now we're going to pivot on the left knee. Be very careful there if there's any injury in the left knee, so you might even want to just adjust without pivoting on the knee as such. But we're going to turn the left foot out to the side 90 degrees towards the right. And then lead with your left arm as you circle. We're coming up. And you should feel as though you're in a mini warrior two. Try and share the weight evenly through the front foot, so the four corners. Look ahead over your front middle finger. And then we're going to flip the front palm and exhale. Move slowly here. Take your left fingertips down towards the earth as you take your right arm up and overhead. Now try and send some weight into the front foot. And then when you're ready, slowly engage your core. Very important. Pull the lower belly in and inhale as you come up. Now take your forearm down onto your front thigh and send your left fingertips overhead. Make sure that right shoulder isn't too close to your earlobe. Let it drop and relax. And then inhale, recenter, warrior two. Now circle your hands down on the inside of the right foot and walk them out to a diagonal. Hands are going to be shoulder width apart. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, gently fold forwards here. Relax your head. You might even, if you relax your head enough, feel this stretch into the back of your neck, into the trapeze muscle. Make sure your right knee isn't dropping to the left. Keep it directly over your ankle, so you're always in control here. And then inhale, gently walk yourself up. Come onto your fingertips. We're going to turn the left foot back to center. Hands are going to frame the front foot. Plant your palms down, tuck your back toes and step back into your plank. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Now notice if you're collapsing in the lower belly. So often we do a little, so instead pull the belly up and in and allow yourself to feel that your spine is lengthening. The lower spine is lengthening when you do that. Now inhale, lift up through your left leg. Exhale, knee to nose, slowly come forward, shoulders over wrists, and then step your left foot to the inside of your left hand and let your back knee drop down and tuck your toes. Breathe in, reach up through your fingertips. And take the same kind of lunge you took on the right side. So if you want to bob a bit, then go ahead. If you want to hold steady, hold steady. Try and be more taken by the breath than the physical, so the subtle energy, feel into that and almost let that take control here. So what feels right with your energy, and allow that to take shape and form the physical. Exhale, release your hands down either side of your front foot, and we're going to extend the left leg. Let the toes point up towards the ceiling. Take a moment, enjoy that heart reaching forwards, and then let your foot drop down towards the earth. Open up across the chest. Shoulder blades pull in. And then we come back, stretch out. So this is Ardha Hanumanasana, half Hanumanasana. And that's a really interesting story about Hanuman. Lift the heart. Shoulder blades touch. So it's too long to say in between poses, but I recommend if anyone's interested. And then bend your knee, lift your heart. Okay, now we're going to come all the way up, reach through your fingertips, and we're going to turn the back foot out to the side as we open up into our mini warrior two. So your shoulders are over your hips. We're going to flip the front palm, and as you exhale, take a mini reverse. So your fingertips, right fingertips come down to the floor and your left arm reaches overhead. Relax your shoulders. Now really engage the core, so very important. Inhale as you come up. And exhale, take your left forearm to your thigh and reach your right arm up and overhead. Breathing it again into the side body. And inhale to come up, back in your warrior two shape, and then circle your hands down on the inside of your left foot and walk your fingertips out to the side a little so you're in a diagonal. Plant your palms down onto the floor if you can, otherwise stay onto the fingertips, and then relax, melt down so your head relaxes too. Make sure your left knee is positioned over your ankle. Breathe into where you're feeling it. The inner left thigh, the back of your neck. And then very gently, mindfully come up. Pivot your right heel back to center, your right foot back to center, and walk your hands so that they're either side of the left foot. I think I missed something here. So we're going to take the right hand down as we sweep up through the left fingertips and come into our twist. Now if you want to tuck the back toes and lift your back knee, then go ahead, open up across the chest. Open through the back thigh and strengthening into your front leg. And then gently release, take that knee down, take your hand down. We're going to press into the floor so that you feel the back of your heart lift. Lift your back knee and step it back into plank. Now let your knees touch down, untuck your toes, and slowly lower all the way down to the earth. Inhale, lift up through your heart. Shoulder blades come together, so that's the tips of the shoulder blades. Press into your feet, try and get the little toe side to touch down. So it most likely won't, but just try and encourage it to also ground towards the earth. And then we're going to reach the fingertips back, palms face in. Reach the tips of your fingers towards your feet. Lift up through your heart. Deep breath in. And then take your hands either side of your chest. Exhale, tuck your toes, bend your knees and press back. Downward facing dog. One deep breath here. And slow breath out. And then let's walk the feet forwards towards the hands. Catch hold of opposite elbow. Again, head is really heavy as you rock from side to side. Try and just move your upper body, so keep your legs relatively still. You can shake out through your head. Let go of whatever you need to let go of. Nod your head. And then release your fingertips towards the earth. Bend into your knees, tuck your chin into your chest, and slowly start to roll up through your spine. One vertebrae at a time, your head coming up last. And I appreciate you can't see me right now, but that should work out fine. You'll see me in a moment, so just find your mountain pose here. So you can close your eyes, big toes together to touch, heels separate, or if you prefer, take your feet hip width apart. Share the weight between both of your feet, so really take the time just to notice, take the care to notice where the weight is, and you might like to sway from left to right and gently allow the weight of the body to transition, and then you find that center place. And then let's take our hands together in Anjali Mudra, so that's prayer position at heart center, and feel the connection of your thumbs against your sternum. Now this is mountain pose, so we reach from the ground up, and that's where we find stability from. So very gently, tiny micro actions, start to reach up through the inner arches of your feet. Now feel the energy build and lift from here. So you find the kneecaps and lift them up. Engage the thighs to help with this. Gently pull your navel into center and feel your tailbone lengthen. Imagine it lengthening all the way down to the earth. Reach up through the sides of your waist. Lift up through your sternum. Let your shoulders melt down your back body. Again, the sides of the neck are long, and then reach through the crown of your head. So your chin is very slightly tucked, so the back of your neck feels even longer. Now take a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. So the breath is what makes this moving practice yoga asana. Without the breath, it's all very physical. So try and open up this experience to yourself by staying with that anchor. And then release your hands by the sides of your body. Inhale, reach your fingertips out to the side, palms touch overhead and look up. Exhale, fold forwards, take your hands to the earth and look to your shins. Now inhale, hands to the sides of your shins, lift your chest. Exhale, take your hands down and step back into your plank. Knees to the floor, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift your chest, come into your cobra, and exhale, tuck your toes, bend your knees, press back, downward facing dog. Take one breath here, feel the root, the Hasta Bandha through the hands to the earth, and feel your hips reaching high. Now inhale, step your right foot forwards and take your back heel down, setting up for warrior two. So that's a T shape with the front heel and the back arch. Open up, look forwards. Press the weight into the back foot here. Now we're going to flip the front palm and exhale, find your reverse warrior. Inhale, come back to center, take your forearm down onto the thigh and exhale, take your left arm up and overhead. Now breathing in, come back to center, warrior two, and exhale, circle your hands down, turn onto the ball of the back foot, step back into your plank. Knees to the floor, lower all the way down. Inhale, lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades in, tuck your toes, bend your knees and press back, downward facing dog. One breath here. Inhale, your left leg steps forwards, place your back heel down, setting up for warrior two and gently glide into your warrior. Hold here, find the weight in the feet, you're pressing into the knife edge of your back foot. Flip your front palm and exhale, reverse your warrior. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, take your forearm down and take your top arm overhead. Now try and open up across the chest, relax the shoulders. Breathing in, warrior two. And exhale, circle your hands down, step it back, move through your vinyasa so your knees touch down. Lower everything at once to the earth. Breathe in, open your heart, tuck your toes, bend your knees, and exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Now I'll take a little longer here. 5 breaths. Breathing deeply, imagine the breath moving through the body. So it's nice to think of it running along the spine. It's nice to think of the breath running down the backs of the legs. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, come up high onto your toes, look between your hands, and inhale as you step or hop or walk to the front. Lift your chest, look forwards. And exhale, fold over your legs and relax your head. Now press into your feet, breathe in, sweep your fingertips out to the side, palms touch overhead, look up. And exhale, release. Once more like this, breathing in, fingertips sweep out to the side, palms touch. Exhale, fold forwards, hands to the earth, look to your shins. Now inhale, look forwards, lengthen through your torso. And exhale, place your hands down, step back into your plank. Knees to the floor, move through your vinyasa. Breathe in as you lift your heart, tuck your toes, and exhale, press back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, your right foot steps forwards, turn your back heel down for warrior two as you circle your arms open. Look forwards, feel the shoulder blades glide away from each other. Flip your front palm, exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, your forearm touches down onto the thigh. If you want to come a little deeper and take that hand down, go ahead. Reach the left fingertips towards the front of the room. And then as you breathe in, pull yourself back to your warrior two. And exhale, glide down, move through your vinyasa as you step it back into your plank. Chaturanga if you wish, otherwise knees to the floor. Breathe in, find your cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, press back. One breath here, your feet are hip width apart. Maybe now sending the thighs a little further back. And then as you inhale, step your left foot forwards. Back heel touches down and circle your arms open. Take a breath in Virabhadrasana 2. And then flip your front palm. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Breathing in, come back to center. Take your forearm down onto your front thigh and reach your fingertips overhead. Maybe staying there if you want to take the hand down. There's an option here to do so. And inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, circle your hands to the earth and step back into your plank. Knees to the floor or chaturanga. Breathe in, lift your heart. Exhale, tuck your toes and press back, downward facing dog. And we'll take 3 breaths. Notice how the temperature in your body is changing. Notice how the breath is always changing, and see if you can take a little more control there. So lengthen your inhalation, even if it doesn't feel the most comfortable option to take. Can you lengthen your exhalation? And then bend your knees, come up onto your toes, look between your hands. So you're finding a little spring here, and then you step, walk, or hop to the front of the mat. And you lift your heart, feel the heart stretching forwards, press your hips back. Keep all of that length in your torso as you exhale, fold in, relax your head. Now press through your feet, sweep your fingertips out to the side, palms press overhead, and exhale, release. Lovely. Now let's take the hands to the hips. Your elbows are level with your body, so not drawing too far back or forwards. Now we're going to lift up through the right knee and take your knee out to the side. Now hold on to the shin. If you want to already hook the big toe and take that leg out to the side, that's fine too. So just see what option works. Keep looking forwards. Try and look at one thing that's not moving. And then take hold of your ankle and gently press the foot to the thigh, and we'll come into tree pose. So you might want to instead take that foot a little lower onto the calf or onto the ankle. So find the right place for you and take your hands together in prayer position, thumbs right at the chest. Now choose what you would like to do with your gaze, perhaps holding it at one place in the room, so again something that's not moving, or maybe even closing down the eyes and playing around with your balance a little more. And if your eyes are closed, gently open them. Again, we're going to adjust the leg, and this time cross the right ankle over your left thigh. Make sure your knee is happy, so you're flexing your right foot, and then very gently sit back into a modified chair pose. And you want to keep folding the heart forward, so just find a place where you can feel the stretch, but it's certainly not too uncomfortable. So somewhere where it feels good to breathe, and pause there. And then inhale as you come all the way up. Release your feet, the right foot touches down, and we'll go to the left side. So stand strong on your right foot and then draw your left knee in towards your chest. Let your knee open up to the left. Try not to let the pelvis move too much. Try to just move the thigh bone. If you want to hook the big toe and extend that leg out to the side, just know that that's also an option. Right hand at the hip. Breathing here. And then take it to tree. So your foot comes to your inner thigh, inner calf, or inner right ankle. Your hands come together in Anjali Mudra. Now very gently press the palms together so you notice the heat between the hands. You feel that meeting of energy. Very softly feel the thumbs connect to the chest. And try to open up across the front of your shoulders. Maybe your eyes are closed, maybe your eyes are open. Can you stand stronger on the right foot? Can you feel the connecting points? So right from the sole of your foot, through the leg, through the torso, all the way to the crown of the head. Can you feel the length here? And then release. We come to cross the left ankle over the right thigh and gently sit back. It's okay to wobble, of course. And we fold forwards as much as feels comfortable. Make sure your knee is happy, so any sharp pains then always pull out. And then come all the way up. Both feet ground down onto the earth. Close your eyes, deep breath in. And slow breath out. We're going to take the hands to the hips and then step out to the side with your right foot. We're going to turn the heels in and the toes out. Now bend into your knees and come into goddess pose through the legs. And we're going to bend the right elbow, take the hand onto your shoulder, and then possibly come back to where we were at the start with gently pressing that elbow away from us, or maybe coming into a bind with the arm. So you send your left arm out to the side, back of the hand faces forwards. You send the arm behind the back, bend the elbow, and maybe the fingertips meet. Often they don't, and if they don't, just catch hold of the t-shirt instead. And then let's pause here. Can you relax the toes? So maybe even wiggle out through your toes. Encourage your thighs back and sit a little lower. little lower again. And then begin to straighten out through your legs. Very mindfully release the interlace and let your arms drop down by the sides of your body. And then we'll take a little movement through the shoulders in one direction and then the other direction. And then again, let's bend the knees. Come back into that goddess pose through the legs. And circle your left arm back behind you. Take your hand to the shoulder, send your right arm out to the side, back of the hand faces forwards, and then you bend your elbows, let the fingertips interlace. Now gently press your left elbow back, right shoulder moves back, and sit a little lower. Notice if your chest is puffing out. Try to keep a long spine, sit a little lower. And once more, maybe a little lower again. And then release. Straighten out through your legs. And very gently, very mindfully release your arms. Shrug through your shoulders in one direction and then in your second direction. And we'll turn the right toes in and step to the front of the mat. Breathing in, sweep your fingertips out to the side, palms touch, look up. Exhale, fold forwards, hands to the earth, look to your shins. Inhale, hands to the sides of your shins, look forwards, lift your chest. And exhale, take your hands down, step back into your plank. Knees to the floor, lower all the way down to the earth. Breathe in, lift your chest. Now let's pause here for a moment. Lift the heart, press the backs of the feet into the floor. Send your arms back behind you, palms facing in. Now press the little toe side of the foot closer towards the earth. Lengthen your spine towards your feet. Lift your heart forwards, shoulders away from ears. Interlace your hands, press your knuckles back towards the feet again. Maybe now lifting up the feet, big toes touch. Now imagine someone has hold of your feet and they're trying to drag them back as you're trying to send your heart forward, stretching out completely through the whole body. And then release. Hands touch down, tuck your toes, bend your knees, exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And slow breath out. Now inhale, lift your right leg high. Three-legged dog. Try and keep the toes pointing down towards the floor. And exhale, step your foot forwards between your hands and place your back foot down onto the earth. Inhale, reach up through your fingertips and come into your warrior one. So you're pulling the right heel back and you're rolling your left inner thigh back, which should help you get the pelvis in a square position. So not completely square, but moving in that direction. Reach up through your fingertips. Now check your feet are hip width apart. If they're not, send your right foot further out to the right. Release your hands back behind you. Interlace them and press your knuckles down towards the floor. Deep breath in, lift your chest. Exhale, fold forwards, humble warrior. Now relax your head as your arms go up and over. Press into the back foot. Keep pulling your right hip into the center point. And then inhale. Start to lift your torso just halfway and release the interlace with your hands. Send your arms down towards the earth and transition them to the inside of your right foot and turn onto the toes of your back foot. Take your palms so that they're flat on the floor. Keep your hands shoulder width apart and come into lizard, any which lizard you prefer. So remember, if this feels a little strong, take the knee to the earth. If you want to go slightly deeper physically, you take the forearms down onto the earth. Now try and keep your spine long, so don't let go of the head here, but do look down towards the floor. Sometimes it feels nice to rock back and forth gently on the ball of the back foot. already, take your back knee to the mat. Take your hands to the floor and lift up through the torso. Now place the toes of the back foot down onto the mat, and we're going to take the hands either side of the front foot and then take that right foot all the way towards the left hip and sit back down onto the heels, coming into our cow face pose. So your knees are stacked on top of each other. Now this doesn't always feel good, so sometimes if we were in a studio or if you have a block, we would sit on a block. If that doesn't feel right for you, try extending your left leg long and your right leg coming over the top, knees directly on top of each other. So hopefully one of those options works. If not, just come to a cross-legged position. And then we're going to send the left arm back. Hand touches down onto the shoulder. Maybe you want to come and take your hand onto the elbow, or maybe you want to take that bind, fingertips touch. Take a deep breath in, sit down through your hips, and exhale, fold forwards. And then inhale as we come up. Release the interlace with your hands, and again shrug out through your shoulders if that feels good. Moving in one direction, moving in the second direction. And then we're going to rock back onto the hips. Release the legs. So if you're right at the back of your mat, come further towards center. Gently take your hands onto your thighs and rock back through your spine. And let's rock once more. And then we'll cross the ankles, take your hands down onto the earth and step back into your plank. Vinyasa, if that feels right for you. If you want to come straight back into downward dog, then that's also an option. That's always there. And we meet in downward dog. And take a breath in, reach your left leg high. Exhale, step your foot forwards between your hands and place your back heel down onto the earth. Reach up through your fingertips, come into warrior one. Now you're sending your left hip back, right hip forwards. Remember a feeling of the right inner thigh rolling to the back of the room. Relax the toes. Press the outer edge of your back foot into the mat. Extend through your torso. Exhale, release your hands behind you, interlace them. Change the interlace, so opposite thumb on top. Press your knuckles towards your back heel as you coil open across the front of your heart. Exhale, folding in. So your feet have to be hip width apart here, otherwise you're going to land on the thigh. So remember, if they're not, just heel toe your left foot further out to the side. Relax the weight of your head. Fold in. And inhale, lift up halfway. Release the interlace with your hands and send the hands on the inside of the left foot. Turn onto the toes of your back foot as you come into your lizard. Take any option that's right, so the knee possibly down onto the floor, or possibly you take your forearms down and keep them shoulder width apart. Maybe you want to rock back and forth. And then wherever you are, if the back knee isn't touching down, let it touch down onto the mat. Take your hands back onto the ground if they're not already. Start to walk your hands back, untuck the back toes, so you're pressing the toenails into the earth. Hands either side of the front foot, and you send your left left heel towards your right hip. So your knees are on top of each other. Remember, there's always that variation with the right leg extended underneath you, or otherwise come to a cross-legged seat. Now we're going to bend the right elbow, hand touches down onto the shoulder, and send your left arm back behind you. Maybe they interlace and meet. Lift up through the chest, but pull your lower ribs in. And then exhale, fold forwards. And take a breath in, come all the way up. Release the interlace with your hands. Slowly release the shoulders. Maybe take a shrug there if that feels good. And then rock back onto your sit bones. Release the legs. If you've got a radiator behind you like me, you're going to have to come to the center point. Now let's catch hold of the thighs and gently rock up and down, back and forth. And then this time we're going to gently rock down, or slowly release down rather, through the spine. And let your legs extend, let your arms extend. And then roll onto your front body. And bend your knees. And catch hold of your ankles, thumbs face down towards the floor. Keep your thighs connected to the mat. And breathe in, just lift your chest. Now kick your feet into your hands to open up across the chest even more. And now lift your thighs up off the floor. And hold here for a few breaths. Maybe the big toes come together to touch. And then exhale. Release, let everything extend long. Look to one side, relax the body, think of your spine as the center point, and let everything soften away from that center. And then look to the second side, so opposite cheek down to the floor. And then recenter. We're going to gently roll over, come back onto your back. And take your knees into your chest. And catch hold of the shins. Rock a little from side to side, from left to right. And open your arms up wide into a T shape. Palms open up towards the ceiling. Take your knees to the right and look to your left. Take your knees to center and look, and then to the left, take them to the left and look to your right. And back to center. Catch hold of the outer edges of your feet. Let the soles of your feet face up towards the ceiling. Press the whole of your spine and the whole of your back body into the mat. Gently pull on your feet closer towards the earth, so let your shoulders touch down towards the earth here too. Maybe pull a little harder on the feet. See if you can get your hips and your lower back touching down onto the mat. And then let go of your feet. Leave your arms where they are for a moment. Bend your knees and let the heels Touch down to the sit bones, extend your right leg long to the right corner of your mat. Left leg long to the left corner. And then very slowly, as if the room you are in was filled with honey, let your arms slowly move down towards the floor. And then when the back of the hands touch the earth, let your fingertips relax, let your fingers completely relax. Deep breath in through the nose, and then when you're ready, when it feels right, take a breath out through the mouth. Notice your physical body. And let the body completely relax and soften. And notice your senses. What do you hear? What can you taste? What can you smell? What can the skin feel? Can the eyes still see, even though the eyes are closed? Maybe you see light coming in. And then try to let these senses fade away as you take yourself to the moon. So imagine a moon in your mind's eye. And just spend a couple of minutes here thinking through what you love about the moon. And then very subtly, slowly start to bring your attention, your awareness back to your physical body. With your eyes closed, start to get a picture of the room that you're in your mind's eye. And then begin to bring some movement into your body. Maybe gently allowing the joints to have very subtle movements. Maybe the fingers, the toes, slight pulses in the shoulders or knees. And then when you're ready, take your knees into your chest. Roll to your right hand side and press your left hand into the earth as you push into a seated position. Take your hands together at heart center, thumbs at your chest, long spine. Take a deep breath in, lift your prayer, let your thumbs press the space between your eyebrows, and exhale as you fold forwards, closing your practice. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you, everyone. Any questions, then let me know. Just put them in the chat and I will get back to you. But otherwise, have a lovely weekend. and hopefully see you next week. Oh, hey Sylvia. So if anyone is